I am the Abiola. I am a teacher with years of experience. I support the motion which says sex education should be taught at school. I am Samuel Omoto Sho. I am an educator with years of experience. I oppose the motion which says sex education should be introduced in schools. Sex education is the act of informing younger and adult generations about everything they need to know about sex. It helps the children develop into balanced, sexually mature adults. My survey, which questioned more than 1,700 parents of children, found that 59% do not agree with the fact that sex education is often taught to children in schools, even from a young age. A similar proportion, 27%, said there was no need for children to know about sex. Classes are gender exclusive. This saves embarrassment among students and teach them only what they need to know based on their gender. Teen pregnancy is not always be casual of miseducation. Students may still be subject to embarrassment or excitable by subject matter. This can make for out-of-control classrooms if students take to laugh or make inappropriate comments. Properly taught, sexual education could become a regular and ongoing human anatomy and biology complete with tests and grading that goes toward graduation credits. Most education is taught as a brief interlude in physical education or health class. Students can be taught the correct terms of the reproductive system of sexually transmitted diseases and contraception birth instead of street slang. This is not enough time to relate effectively to serious material. Myths surrounding sex can be dispelled. For example, cannot get pregnant the first time. Often, sexual education can go against moral or religious beliefs of an individual. Many schools do not teach abstinence only, but to teach how to have sex safely. While many of the religious and family stress marriage before intercourse, studies show that many teenagers become sexually active before the inclusion of educational classes. Principles of inclusion of classes has been shown to help students stay or to abstain or at least be responsible if they are active. Sex education is often seen as a recreational course and not a serious issue. This is a direct correlation with the fact that there are no grades or scores to be derived from class. Proper education can have an impact on the prevention of sexual problems in adulthood. Teachers are not always adequately trained to teach sexual education and may violate their own beliefs or morals on the subject rather than continuing with the facts. The ability to help teenagers make the correct choices, in the safest way possible. Whether that is abstinence or sex or whatever, some teenagers will use sex as a method of rebelling against their parents, showing they are adults, and sex education may inadvertently encourage this by treating a teenager like an adult instead of like a child. It is the only means of helping teenagers avoid the addiction of pornography. Teens are often in the middle of confusion when it comes to their bodies and their feelings, and sex education tends to encourage sex to figure things out. It only worsens things. It helps students not to be afraid of their bodies, and if they decide to masturbate, to not cause further damage. It can cause an over-familiarity with the body of the opposite sex, and encourage exploration. It helps students set goals for dating, to help themselves decide things like how far is too far, how to avoid pregnancy, recognizing when they are ready or not, what to do if pregnant, etc. If taught wrong, it can encourage pornography addictions. It can discourage abstinence attempts, or justify them by saying, well, no one stays a virgin anymore. It can be very hard to be a teen who is against sexual exploration in teen years in a class where everyone is being taught that it's a given that you all will explore sexually as a teen. Sex education is not just about sex. It includes other sensitive issues like sexual health, sexual reproduction, sexuality, and others that parents often feel uncomfortable talking with their children. Therefore, it becomes the responsibility of schools to address this issue and inform and educate students about it as much as possible. It is believed that little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Most sex education provided to students is during physical education or health classes. This brief interlude is not enough to teach students serious materials. I think that for the basic health of society there should be some sex education in schools. Unplanned pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases can be prevented with more education. I think that basic health information should be part of the curriculum, and moral issues left to the church and parents. Sexual education, in many cases, goes against an individual's morals and beliefs. It is a total disservice for any school system to avoid sex education. It should be incorporated into health education. They would be far better off to present the facts to the students and then inform them that abstinence is what is practiced by our beliefs. The number of pregnant girls in the school should give them a clue that their ways are not working. Ignorance is not bliss. Sex education is not a license to become sexually active. It is a weapon against it. Kids are becoming more sexually active at an earlier age. 66% of those countries that taught sex education in schools effortless. They exposed the student to another world. And these same teens are paying the price by contracting dangerous, and sometimes deadly, sexually transmitted diseases. As an educator, I believe that sex ed should be taught in school, however it needs to be taught at home also. The parents cannot place all sex ed on the schools. We as parents and educators can prevent the rise of STDs and pregnancies in school and for teens at a young age. Taking away the parents' responsibility completely isn't going to help matters. Parents need to talk to their children about certain things, and sex should be one of them. If you are not the one talking to your child about such important issues, then you start to lose that bond. Every parent should be able to talk to their child about anything that ends up embarrassing. If parents did not want this responsibility, then they should not have become parents at all. Finally, sex education is a welcoming idea, for it prepares the students for the future. Puberty and sexuality, developing adulthood, fertilization, pregnancy and abortion, reproductive activity, HIV and other STD, personal safety, and, lastly, contraception, special needs and sexual abuse, personal safety. In my opinion, sex education ought to be taught in school, although it should not include advice on contraception but should be restricted to scientific facts about human reproduction, including conception and development of the embryo. And much of this information has been incorporated in science already.